My name is Nicole Cowan, and I'm in the DVM class of 2027. I spent 2 weeks over the summer in South Africa working with wildlife veterinarians, and we did things like darting animals, monitoring them under anesthesia, and translocating them to different areas. And we learned all kinds of different species like lions, rhinos, elephants, African wild dogs. The purpose of this trip was learning more about conservation and wildlife medicine, and for me to explore more into exotics and different things for my future career. One of my favorite experiences during this trip was when we camped out overnight so that we could find the hyenas, so we could replace some of the collars, and that way they can track them for conservation purposes. We were all sitting in our cars waiting until the hyenas came, and it was pitch black outside, but we could hear them making their sounds all around the cars. And then after they were sedated, we got to go up and do physical exams on them. And I liked that I got to hold its paw in my hand and compare the size to see how big they really were. This experience showed me how broad our profession can be and how this can go all the way to wildlife conservation in our profession, and how adaptable we have to be in this field to make rapid decisions when everything is changing, and you just kind of have to stay on your feet and keep pushing through and problem solving. The most surprising part of this trip for me was just how much physical effort it takes to move all these animals after they're sedated. We had to lift them, carry them onto the trucks. And also when we were giving injections, I was giving an injection to a rhino, and I was just surprised at how tough their skin really is to poke a needle through when we were trying to give these injections. After veterinary school, I want to pursue surgery. And so this experience really taught me how important it is to know your clinical skills, work on your procedural skills, and it also just kind of made me realize that I want to possibly include wildlife in my future surgical career. And so hopefully I'll be able to pursue that as well. I think my biggest takeaway from this trip was just learning how important it is to be adaptable in the veterinary field and to think critically and stay calm when you're trying to problem solve on your feet. And I really like to see how just small things like the ear notching, replacing collars, and all of that works towards conservation for wildlife. My advice would be, don't be afraid to take the leap, be open to new experiences, and don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, because that's where the most learning happens. I'm really excited to get into this profession that's constantly evolving and finding new ways to support animals.